but they don't care about the truth. They just want a narrative to get out there amongst enough people.
What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people?
Because most people are just surface readers, right? They read a headline, and I'd be guilty of that many times.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
You read a headline, oh, I know what that is, and then you shut your laptop. I got it now.
Both of you know that story has been totally wiped out.
Now, elsewhere in those remarks, the president did condemn neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So he's not saying that the neo-Nazis and white supremacists are very fine people.
And then you just start repeating he's a liar. It doesn't have to be real.
Joe Rogan is really, really, really not happy with Team Kamala Harris, Kamala Shamala Harris, because again, part of her team, which includes the mainstream media and places like MSNBC, are constantly trying to find celebrity endorsements and find, somebody to say that they like Kamala Harris. Nobody does. There was a lot of hubbub around the DNC about, oh my girl, it's going to be Beyonce, it's going to be Taylor Swift. Guess what? Beyonce didn't show up. Taylor Swift didn't show up. They had some burnt out, washed up celebrities like Pink singing at the DNC. Nobody cared. The DNC came out and said, oh, look how high our ratings are. Well, that's mostly because people were tuning in just to see how bad it was. Polling currently has Kamala Harris slightly ahead. The betting markets have her slipping in the betting odds. Right now, there's a 2-point difference on Polymarket. And Vegas odds have them about even, with still 70 days to go until the election. And quite frankly, I look forward to her CNN interview, because I don't care how much they scrub it, how much they edit it, how much they cut out of it. I don't think she's going to come off very likable. Now, Joe Rogan is not exactly happy. You can see Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman on being taken out of context. Kamala Harris, RFK Jr. This has 500,600,000 views. Wildly liked, 12,000, 13,000 voters. Upvotes. You see here, if you refuse to have Trump on, have Kamala on, it's either a win-win. Look, Trump continues to say, Rogan continues to say, well, he's never going to have Trump on because he doesn't want to help him. Fine. Fine. It's his show. He can have guests on or not. But I think he should have Kamala Harris on. Can you imagine a 3-hour uninterrupted cackle fest? A 3-hour uninterrupted cackle fest where Kamala Harris had to talk off the cuff. It would be a disaster. Now, Joe Rogan is criticizing MSNBC for deceptively editing a clip to make it appear that the popular podcaster was showering praise on the Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, when in fact he was lauding former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Now, we know about this story. The host of the Joe Rogan Experience began his show Tuesday by debunking a rumor circulating online that he was planning to file suit against the left-leaning news channel. I'm not suing MSNBC, Rogan said, adding that his stepfather called him after seeing a headline about his apparent support of the vice president. But this is what MSNBC did. They took a clip of me talking about Tulsi Gabbard, they edited it up, and made it look like I was saying great things about Kamala Harris. Rogan said that MSNBC didn't use any artificial intelligence to make the video, but that the network deceptively edited the things I was saying and took it completely out of context. Now, if you look at like the fourth dimensional chess aspect of this, okay, this isn't exactly an endorsement. This is basically an anti-endorsement to his millions of listeners that he doesn't like Kamala Harris. He said that MSNBC did a mashup of two separate clips and where he's heard praising Gabbard and then noting that Kamala Harris could win the 2024 presidential election, making it appear as if he was only talking about the Democratic nominee. Gabbard, who left the Democratic Party after serving as a lawmaker representing the District of Hawaii, has recently endorsed President Trump. I was talking about Tulsi Gabbard being a congresswoman for 8 years and how she served overseas as part of 2 deployments in medical service dealing with people who were blown up by the war. Rogan was adding, that's not something Kamala Harris did. That's something Tulsi Gabbard did. MSNBC put it out there as a clip of me praising Kamala Harris, he added, but they don't care about the truth, Rogan said about MSNBC. They just want their narrative to get out there amongst enough people where most people are just surface readers who read a headline to say to themselves, I got it now. The video Rogan was referring to has since been deleted by MSNBC, which added a disclaimer to read that we have removed an earlier version of this post that incorrectly implied that Joe Rogan was talking about Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, I mean, it wasn't like an incorrect assertion. They literally said he was talking about Kamala Harris. Rogan has declined to endorse Trump and has praised RFK's independent bid for the White House, prompting former president supporters to criticize Rogan. Kennedy endorsed Trump after rising out. So you have the transitive property of Kamala Harris, you know?
Their life is a mess. There's no one who does that, who is a healthy, accomplished person.
Oh, they're talking about the guy with the deepfakes. So no, he's not suing MSNBC for $30 million. But this is, of course, not the same thing.
And it turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All
Below is the original video that Joe Rogan posted. And if you remember, this is the video that CNN used to make Joe Rogan look like he was a literal ghost. Joe Rogan obviously called this out and said, hey, what the heck is this? What's going on? And then Snopes and fact check and said, oh, well, CNN didn't do anything to the video. I mean, use your own eyes. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that it was very edited. You know what I mean? And really, MSNBC and, all this kind of stuff. Now, MSNBC issues a correction for TikTok click confusing Joe Rogan's praise for Gabbard as an endorsement of Harris.
And with that, let's bring in former Democratic presidential candidate who is now backing Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, it's great to have you on the show. So the big news, of course, is that you and not...
Oh, that's just a regular video. So, I mean, you have, Joe Rogan slams the deceptive video that took his words out of context. Joe Rogan claims MSNBC deceptively edited the clip, but it doesn't actually matter, right? If you look at it, what Joe Rogan is doing is actually, I think, without a direct endorsement of Donald Trump, Joe Rogan certainly spends a lot of time making fun of Kamala Harris, roasting Kamala Harris. He spends a lot of time doing that for a guy that doesn't actually want to make any formal endorsements. And I don't think, I don't think that he will come out and outright say he wants one or the other, because he feels like, that's too much. He doesn't want to wield that kind of power. But he has this conversation, Joe Rogan, Russell Crowe slam Kamala Harris. I mean, anything that you say, anything that you want to look at about Joe Rogan and Kamala Harris, it's not good. But MSNBC, part of, obviously, Team Kamala Harris, did this on purpose, and they don't care. Because thousands of people saw it, and they don't care because not everyone will see the correction. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. MSNBC took this edited clip. So here's the actual clip, if we remember.
She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win.
By the way, they added this. Joe Rogan predicts that Kamala Harris will win the presidency. That is not a misleading thing. The description in the video says Joe Rogan predicts a Kamala Harris victory in November.
is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice. She in a medical unit. She was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want.
What's funny is none of that is true about Kamala Harris other than her skin color. You know what I mean? He says all you have to do is take something out of context for someone who's never going to watch it in the first place. Rogan then accused Democrats of not caring about the truth, adding they just want a narrative to get there among just enough people because most people are just surface readers. Rogan has not formally endorsed a presidential candidate. Obviously, we know he talks about, he talks about RFK, but here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about it.
Not sure if you guys caught this, but MSNBC was exposed today for yet another set of lies. They deceptively edited together this video of different Joe Rogan comments to make it appear that he was singing the praises of Kamala Harris.
She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. She is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice. She in a medical unit. She was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want. She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. They just want no Trump, no matter what.
This is not reflective at all of the truth of what Joe Rogan said. And I think MSNBC has since taken this post down. But what's really serious here is that not only does Joe Rogan deserve an apology, there's actually something far bigger at stake here. This is yet another example of how MSNBC is working hand in glove with the Democrat elite and the Kamala Harris campaign to try to spread lies, simply things that are not true. So what this means is MSNBC is a for-profit corporation. They are helping Kamala Harris's election campaign. And what they are doing through their platform would qualify as an in-kind contribution to her campaign. It's worth a lot of money. The fact that they are doing this should require the Federal Elections Commission that manages campaign spending and campaign finance to require them to report this as an in-kind campaign.
Uh-oh. I mean, this is just another terrible, terrible look. This video by Joe Rogan has been viewed by 500,000 people in a day. It'll be viewed by 1 million people later. So instead of it being an endorsement of Kamala Harris, 1 million people will hear Joe Rogan going out of his way to say, no, I don't like Kamala Harris. No, I don't think Kamala Harris will win the election not the election, but I don't think she's a strong independent woman. I don't think she's this. I don't think she's that. Certainly Kamala Harris could win the election. You know, basically the media and the deep state, I think that's enough to run probably 40% of the vote, about 40%, roughly. But will it be enough to get over the top? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Trump's base is going to have to get out there and work hard. And you're working against MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, basically every major network, every major newspaper, and the entire government. Good luck. It's a fight I'm down for, though.